Hi guys, so today we're going to be discussing the energy of Gemini and if you have Gemini energy in your chart. So Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac. It is ruled by the planet Mercury, which is the planet of communication. It's the planet that rules reading, writing, how you take in information and how you divulge information as well. So because Gemini rules the hands, the lungs, and also the respiratory system, which is, the nervous system, there is an energy of Gemini getting a little bit antsy or restless, which can cause shortness of breath sometimes. So if you do have Gemini energy strong in your birth chart, you may notice that there may be times where you need to kind of compose yourself and kind of breathe before you express yourself. Because Mercury rules Gemini, so it's really quick. It's quick-witted. It wants to express itself. It wants to talk. It wants to write. It wants to do all of those things. So there may be some issues with the respiratory system as well with Gemini. So because Gemini rules the third house in the in astrology, it symbolizes basically the early childhood years, your personal self-development, and discovery. Geminis are all about discovery. If you have strong Gemini energy in your chart, you will want to discover things. You will want to explore things and see like what's out there, how things work, how people work and everything like that, how their mental framework really is. So it enjoys to learn. You enjoy to learn if you're a Gemini, and it likes to work through technology, anything that has to do with phones or internet or cell phones, emailing, anything that has to do with connecting to the broader world is really a big thing for Gemini, because Gemini is a sign of news. It likes to bring news. It likes to bring information. It likes to gather information. So new information and the community, it's to the world. It really wants to express itself in its community and to the broader world. Because the partner sign of Gemini is Sagittarius, which is a fire element, and Gemini is an air element. So air influences fire. So everything that Gemini mentally wants to learn, it generally just gravitates towards it. It's really more interested in like things of the world. It's attracted to exotic things, exotic countries, exotic foods, exotic people, because it makes Gemini learn more about the world around it, the world that it's a part of as well. So there is a travel spirit with Gemini when you have this energy in your birth chart, or if Gemini energy is strong in your birth chart, you will find that you do enjoy traveling, or you do enjoy learning things about different places. So even if you're an introvert, even if you're a Gemini that's an introvert and doesn't really resonate with some of the things that I've said, you will want to communicate yourself, whether it be through writing in a journal, through communicating, through probably other forms, like other ways that you can find to communicate or spread your ideas. You will find some way for that, because that Gemini energy does need a way to express itself. So every Gemini is not the same. Every Gemini I find is fascinatingly different. I've never met the same type of energy with Gemini, because of course the other elements that are also in the chart and where the other planets are placed, that will give the Gemini flavor, some more flavor to your Gemini sun, moon, ascendant, or any other planets that you may have in Gemini in your chart. So let me see what else. I have some notes. I want to make sure I get everything correct with you guys. So they do tend to use their words and the way they communicate in a very, very beautiful way. I find Geminis to have the most beautiful, eloquent ways of expressing themselves. Their verbal capacity is amazing. Learning different languages, learning about different foods and systems. The only thing with this element is it tends to learn on a superficial level at times, instead of really, being like a Scorpio and being a detective and actually going into it. It kind of just skims the surface sometimes and only learns about like the things that it's only interested in. So you do tend to know a little something about everything, though. This energy is very curious and in different subjects, because Mercury it rules analyzing. And when we think about the two signs that Mercury rules, it's Virgo and it's Gemini. Virgo is that analyzer, the one that's looking at everything, every detail. And Gemini just wants to learn. It just wants to express itself. It just wants to go out there and meet people. It's a childlike energy. It's fun. It wants to meet people and gravitate towards it. It doesn't really care if what it's learning is not useful. It just wants to learn. It just wants to learn. So friends do love Gemini energy, I find, because this is also a sign, I feel, of friendship. They say Sagittarius is the sign of friendship. I feel like Gemini also, because it befriends people very quickly. Like if it likes you, it comes up to you, and it's just like it wants to know all this information. It may do it in a different manner, but Gemini energy is always curious. Don't ever doubt that about them. They're always curious and always want to find out what's happening. They're like the gossips and the gossip queens, or the journalist of the zodiac. So if you have, like I said, you have childlike energy with Gemini. So children do tend to initially just gravitate to the energy of Gemini. I find this sign of Gemini makes really good teachers, because they really know how to teach and make it fun. They know how to make something enjoyable. They know how to make you laugh while you're learning. They make you feel as though you also have your childlike energy comes out with Gemini, because they always want to travel, explore, see new things. They're very, very open-minded, I would find. In my time of doing astrological charts with Gemini energy, and they know how to make you laugh, which is always a fun thing. Who doesn't want someone around them to make them laugh? Gemini will do that. So because Gemini, you are the sign of duality, there is a Jekyll and Hyde trait about this element. And with all the glitz and the glamour, you do tend to get bored easily, I find, with this energy. If you have Gemini energy, there is a constant restlessness, you need to do something, or you feel like you have to be doing something in your life, and you kind of get bored with people, places, or things very easy. So if you find that you kind of have a ADHD personality, or your attention gets kind of swayed to different things, it's because you're just so curious. You're very curious element, very curious zodiac sign. Like I said, the sign of child-like energy, learning. It's your efforts in this world. That's Gemini energy in the birth chart. So you want to learn. You want to not be hindered, or you don't want to be stuck to things as well. So if somebody or something or some place tends to put you in a situation where you do feel like you're stuck, I do find this energy gets really restless and just vamoose. It just disappears. So you do tend to take on too much with this energy of Gemini. You tend to take on too much, and you don't really tend to commit yourself all the way with such certain things that you're doing. So you tend to kind of start something, not finish something, start something, not finish something. And this goes with a lot of different things with Gemini, regarding relationships, jobs, anything you can start and not finish. Gemini has probably done that because of the element that Gemini holds within it. It's just restless. It just needs to move, just like Mercury. It moves really quick around all of that. Around all those planets. It's just moving, getting information. I'd say the only time Geminis are not moving quick is when Mercury is probably retrograding. Even then, they're getting information, they're storing something, they're reanalyzing something so that they can move forward when they finally have all that information. If they don't know something, they go and they research it a little bit just to kind of learn a little bit of information about it, just to make their mind more stimulated. So like I said before, commitment is one word that is not in the vocabulary of Gemini. I find you will learn every other word there is, you will understand it, but the word commitment tends to be something that makes you feel really stuck and not as free as you want to be. So unless there's like a strong earth energy or fixed elements in the chart, I do tend to find that this energy does not like to really commit to things. So there is a tendency to be flaky with the energy of Gemini. It's really learning because you are the child. Like I said, you are the energy of childlike energy. Your childlike energy. So really, what you need to learn is about step by step, and then learning. Because even when this energy ages and matures, it still has this like youthful spirit about it. It still has this, this I want to clap my hands, I want to dance. It's beautiful because they grow up, but they never really grow up with this energy. So you're fascinated by a lot of different projects, hobbies, and you love to engage with other people as you're doing these things. You'd find the Gemini would be the sign that'd be in that yoga class, the sign that would be in the singing class, the sign that would be in that drum class, the sign that would be taking African dance classes, and then going, to Brazil to learn about how to tribal dance. This is Gemini, because remember, opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius. So you want to explore the world. You want to and this is why commitment to you is such because of the fact that commitment makes you feel like you're stuck and you can't really explore a lot of things. So there is a great need for discipline and concentration with this sign. But as I said, it really depends on the other elements in your birth chart that's going to influence that as well. So Geminis value the mind, intellect, and conversations with others. So you are great reporters, as professions, great reporters, writers, musicians, using anything with your hands, artists, dancers, spokesmen. You need to be able to have free range in whatever type of career path you take. And you need to be able to use your skill with words or your skill of communication in the kind of job that you do. If you want a little bit more clarity about the work that you could probably be really good at, Gemini, look to see in your birth chart, where is the planet Saturn, at what sign it's in, where is the planet Jupiter, as well, so you can kind of get more of a swirl as to what it is that will make you a little bit more happy regarding your work life. Because I do find this element jumps from different professions a lot, trying to learn different things and see really where is its niche. Where's its niche? But most of all, I find teaching to be one of the things that you gravitate towards a lot. So in love, how is a Gemini in love? In love, you need a lot of fun, energy, a lot of unpredictability in your relationship, because you can't live on a routine basis. You really get bored with the stagnant energy. Because you're a sign of the cerebral, you do need a partner that you can communicate with and share ideas with. If you're with a Gemini and there's no communication, you're not in a relationship with them. If you're with a Gemini and they don't express themselves to you, they're not really feeling you, or there's something else that's catching their attention. So really be mindful. If you're going to be with a Gemini, have a wide range of subjects to talk about with this individual, because they've been researching since they were still in the stomach. So please, their mind is going to get a little bit restless with you if you're not, moving as quick as they are. Sometimes they do tend to be really quick with the way they move through relationships as well. So they love passion, adventure, intelligence, and laughter. I find they love to laugh. They love to laugh. If you can make a Gemini laugh, they'll probably keep you around for a really long time. So you may change your mind often. With the energy of Gemini, there is, like I said, the duality of the twins. So there is a disposition here to change your mind often. It's here one minute, it's next, it's there the next. I'm thinking about, there is a newswoman. Her name is Wendy Williams. She is a Cancer sun, but she's a Gemini ascendant, and I think she does a show, and she has this thing where she goes, "I'm a woman and I'm allowed to change my mind." Now this is Gemini to the T. They will tell you that they are allowed to change your mind in a split second. So they can like you one minute, and then the next minute, they decide they don't like something that you did and just really just distance themselves from you. I find that to be true a lot. Like if Geminis are upset or mad about something, they just don't want to deal with the person. They'll use their intellectual word to just kind of sting a little bit, mentally bruise you, and then just, vamoose, or act like they didn't really say what they said. I tend to find that to be true about this energy. So, yeah, you may change your mind often about your mates. You may change your mind because, like I said, your duality, your nature. And you may even, sometimes I find Geminis start a new relationship with someone when they're actually still in a relationship with someone else. Like I said, the duality, they don't really know sometimes. They're like, oh, not that they don't know. They know, but they need more excitement sometimes. And, and that's what they tend to do. like I said, depending on other elements in your chart and aspects that were being made to your Mercury, you'll tend to find out exactly how energy flows with you a little bit. Yeah, because you are so mental, you may not be emotional or practical when it comes to relationships. So because you live in the cerebral, you live in your head. So you logically are feeling things and seeing things sometimes that are not really down to earth, or that are not really feeling on the emotional realm. So you live, like I said, most of the time in your head. So I've had some fascinating conversations and travels with Gemini energy. I love the energy of Gemini because it does stimulate my mind. It does make me look at things in a different perspective because of all of the things that they've studied, all of the things that they've seen, and all the things that they experience. I find this energy, by the time they hit a certain age, they've experienced way more than a lot of other people, just because they've put themselves in situations and are not afraid of it, because they're always looking for that other twin. They're always looking for that other person that they feel is like that niche to them, that completes them, that makes them feel like they found the stars in that person. So I like the conversation. I call Geminis the mental gypsies of the zodiac because they just can't stay still. And it goes just not just a world beyond, they're exploring, they're fascinated by a lot of other things. So they're always looking when you meet Gemini. So tips for Geminis with this video. I would say please find some way to express your yourself. Find a way to let your words out. Whether it be through journaling if you're introverted Gemini, it could be through learning a new language because you like that. Traveling, dancing, creative work, a lover, a friend, a dog. You need to find some way to express everything that is here, that is in your mind. And if you don't find some way to express what is here mentally, or even putting it on paper, like I said with the journaling, you probably are not going to feel as satisfied, feeling more restless as well. So that's an energy to look out for if you have strong Gemini energy, or if you are a Gemini. Your energy, it really needs to be like staying alive. It needs to feel vibrated. And think about children. Like I said, when you think about Gemini, think about children. They always want to know something. They always want to see something. So there can be some anxiety if you don't express yourself, if you don't have a way or outlet for all of that, cerebral energy to just disperse. Geminis, like I said, are the journalists. They're the teachers. So even if you are writing for a paper, or if you're writing a newsletter, do that. Find something to express that. So there is also a need for Gemini to work on time management. They tend to be always late. They tend to mismanage time a lot. So as you find, some Geminis are probably always late, running late. Their 5 minutes is like an hour or two, because they're so distracted by so many things, and they have to do things that they tend to run late often, I find, with this energy. So another thing with Gemini is, because you're so cerebral, because your words, your language, everything is so, you've delegated, you've found words to express yourself. You tend to sometimes be a little threatened by someone else's use of their mind and the way that they learn. Especially Geminis are drawn, I find, to people that are very intellectual, very intelligent, but tend to be a little threatened by them as well, because they feel like they need to actually up their game and capacity of learning, or have this conversation with this individual. They need to be on a cerebral level, so they tend to get a little bit I would say insecure a little bit when they do find that there's another person that either knows a little bit more than they do. But you know what, Gemini, you're the sign of effort. So whatever you do, you just keep on learning. You're never going to know everything. You're never going to know everything. So just be happy with what you know and learn from that person that you probably have some type of some mixed feelings about because of their intellectual capacity as well. That's a really good way of challenging yourself as well. So slowing down and seeing what's really worth your time. Also with Gemini, I find you guys rush into things so much and you waste energy on people, places, or things. Yes, you learn a lot, but you find that you waste, unlike your other counterparts, your other sisters and brothers of the zodiac sign, you tend to find that whatever you're trying to do, your endeavors never really work out sometimes the way you want to. I would say if you just try to structurize your time and manage it a little bit better, and then just kind of look at people around you. Yeah, it may be fun to hang out with this person, but is that person bringing any type of productivity or growth into your life? Because that's the thing, you want to grow. Your childlike energy, you want to grow. You want your efforts to pay off. So yeah, I think this is all I can think about as my interpretation for the zodiac sign of Gemini. I would say keep learning, keep growing, keep traveling, and just be patient with yourself and other people with this element, because everybody learns their own way, Gemini. You know, multiple intelligence is just something that everyone has. Everyone is not going to learn things the same way you are. And because you're such a sensitive sign, even though you're cerebral, you're very sensitive. Remember, childlike, you get hurt easy. Try to understand that about other people too. And, you know, and then I think it'll be a little bit easier for you after a certain age, especially after the Saturn return. I feel you'll find a little bit more of your niche and what you like to do, or what is probably more suitable for your energy. So I do have a book that I do recommend for the Geminis, and this is a wonderful book by a wonderful author, and it really talks about so much: your health, your lifestyle, your career path. It's really inexpensive. You can find it anywhere online to order it. And I really recommend this. This is actually your color too. Yellow is the color of Gemini, because it's the friendliest sign of the zodiac. So remember that about yourself, and just use your energy wisely. So this is Aquila for my interpretation of Gemini energy, and I hope you like, and I'll see you soon. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, my email is on the bottom of the description, and just email me and we can do a reading. Okay, thank you, Gemini energy. Bye.